There are Batman villains that want power, some that want revenge, and some that simply lose themselves completely. Manbat was never truly evil. He was a scientist chasing evolution, and instead became one of Gotham's most horrifying cautionary tales. And honestly, Sideshow may have just created one of the most atmospheric horror pieces they've ever released. Welcome back, YouTube, to Comic Statues Unleashed. Today, we are diving headfirst into nightmare fuel. This is the brand new Manbat premium format figure from Sideshow Collectibles. And this thing looks like it's escaped from a Gotham horror film somewhere deep beneath Gotham City. Now, if you guys know me, I love pieces that tell stories through silhouette and atmosphere. And this doesn't just sit on a shelf, it stalks it.
Like a sexual predator.
Join me as we dissect the comic lore of this character, do a full unboxing and assembly, as well as a detailed review on this underrated Gotham antagonist. Now, let's get into it. But first, a little backstory. Dr. Kirk Langstrom was never supposed to become a monster. Originally a zoologist obsessed with bats and echolocation, Langstrom developed a serum designed to enhance human senses using bat DNA. Classic Gotham move, of course. And naturally, it went catastrophically wrong. The result was Manbat, a towering hybrid creature driven by primal instinct, rage, and fractured humanity. What makes Manbat fascinating isn't just his appearance, it's the tragedy underneath. Unlike Joker, Scarecrow, or even Killer Croc, Kirk Langstrom often desperately wants to be cured, which makes him less of a villain and more like Gotham's version of a body horror nightmare. In essence, Manbat represents one of Batman's oldest recurring themes, the danger of obsession. Gotham is filled with people trying to become more than human. Freeze tries to conquer death, Ivy tries to surpass nature, and Scarecrow weaponizes fear. Langstrom, however, tried to evolve mankind himself. But instead of transcendence, he regressed into instinct.
I'm a snake.
That's why this design works so well visually. He's suspended between man and beast. You can still see traces of humanity in the musculature and posture, but the face, that thing is pure nocturnal nightmare. And here we have a quick little shot of the art box as well as the underside decal. As we begin examining the portrait, we realize it is grotesque in all the best possible ways. Sideshow avoided making him overly clean or overly stylized. Instead, they embraced asymmetry and raw aggression. The elongated ears immediately create that unsettling bat silhouette, while the stretched mouth and layered fangs push him straight into creature feature territory. And those eyes, that glowing reddish stare, feels genuinely hostile. There's almost a rabid intensity to the sculpt, like this thing should be moving. Overall, paint application here is surprisingly restrained, and that's exactly why it works. The skin tones use desaturated grays mixed with subtle violet and blue undertones. That creates this cold, corpse-like appearance without making him look flat. Veins are softly integrated beneath the surface rather than painted harshly on top, which gives the skin a more organic realism. The fur work is fantastic. Instead of pure black, they layered earthy browns, charcoal grays, and muted olive tones into the texture. That prevents the sculpt from visually collapsing under low light. The transition work between flesh and fur is especially impressive around the shoulders and neck. It feels diseased, almost mutating in real time. For those astute viewers watching this, they'll realize that the final application of this piece is slightly different from the original renders. The colors are a little off. I'll throw up a quick picture so you can see, and I think Sideshow made the right call here, switching to the more neutral, grounded colors. Just a little post-edit, so excuse the audio, but I wanted to highlight how well packaged these wings actually are.
That's not going anywhere.
They came out perfect. This right here from Sideshow is a definite home run. The translucent wings are probably the defining feature of this entire piece. During the day, they already look fantastic, but once lighting kicks in, it's a different animal entirely. The veins illuminated through the membrane create this organic, almost biological glow. Like blood vessels beneath the skin. It gives the entire statue a cinematic horror quality. This is the kind of piece that completely transforms depending on room lighting. And then we get to this enormous bat signal itself. Clearly a great addition. This is where the storytelling elevates dramatically. The white light mode feels classic at Gotham, like Batman has just activated the signal moments before Manbat descended onto it. But the red distress mode, that's horror movie territory right there. Suddenly, the statue feels apocalyptic. The entire mood changes from villain display to contaminant breach. Honestly, if you display this piece with ambient red lighting in the dark room, oh man, you may accidentally summon Robert Pattinson. And now we have the comic statues unleashed, signature assembly video and 360-degree vantage shot. Sideshow absolutely leaned into horror presentation here. And honestly, that was the right call. The composition is phenomenal. Instead of going with a dynamic flying pose, they chose a crouch predator stance, almost gargoyle-like. It makes Manbat feel territorial, like he's claiming the bat signal itself as his prey. The entire silhouette forms this downward triangular shape that naturally funnels your eyes towards the illuminated base. And those wings, what can I say about them? The translucent material completely changes the visual identity of the piece once lighting activates. I love the fact that not only do we have two options for the bat signal color, but also two modes of light, sheer brilliance, and allows for a complete transformation of the piece, almost signifying a corruption of the bat mantle itself. Now, as much as I genuinely love this piece, I do want to address what is probably the biggest weakness in the overall presentation, the shoulder seam lines. And unfortunately, they're fairly noticeable in certain lighting conditions. This is one of those areas where the illusion of realism breaks a little bit, especially because the sculpt and paintwork everywhere else are trying so hard to create this organic creature appearance. The problem is the transition between the arms and upper torso doesn't feel fully integrated. Instead of disappearing naturally into the anatomy, the seams remain very visible, enough to catch your eye during closer inspection. And on a premium format piece at this price point, I do think Sideshow could have engineered this more cleanly. I'm not trying to say I'm some kind of expert and I know all the dynamics that went into this, but at the bare minimum, they could have hid the seams towards the back where it would have been concealed and out of sight.
Right to jail, right away.
To be fair, large winged characters with complex assembly are notoriously difficult from a manufacturing standpoint. There are weight considerations, packaging limitations, stability concerns, all of that matters, sure, but I still think there were a better way to approach this. Thankfully, the darker paint application and dramatic lighting do help reduce the visibility somewhat in a normal display setup, but under direct lighting or during close inspection. Now, does it ruin the statue for me? No, not even close, because the overall atmosphere and presentation are still incredibly strong. But I do think it's important to point these things out, honestly, especially at the premium collectible level. Collectors deserve transparency. That balance between praise and critique is what helps companies continue improving future releases. Now, what makes this piece special isn't scale, it's the atmosphere it creates. Some statues dominate through size, others dominate through complexity. This one dominates through mood. It creates a horror corner wherever you place it. Damn! Especially with controlled lighting. Display this near darker Batman rogues like Scarecrow, Croc, or Vampire Batman, and it becomes an instant centerpiece. As a final collector's verdict on this piece, the Manbat premium format figure feels like Sideshow stepping fully into gothic horror territory, and honestly, I hope they continue. This piece understands exactly what Manbat should be. Not elegant, not heroic, not over-designed. Just raw mutation, suspended over one of Gotham's most iconic symbols. It's creepy, it's atmospheric, and under the right lighting, it genuinely feels alive.
You know, pieces like this remind me of why I love collecting in the first place. It's not always about perfection. It's about emotion, presence, storytelling, and this Manbat piece has a ton of personality. The second you turn those lights on, the entire statue changes mood. Suddenly, it stops feeling like a collectible and starts feeling like a creature lurking over Gotham City. That's incredibly difficult to pull off in a statue form. And while I do think there are some production choices Sideshow could have handled better, especially in the transition areas, the overall artistic vision here is incredibly strong. The statue understands the assignments. It's grotesque, it's dramatic, and it's uncomfortable. And honestly, it should be. Manbat was never meant to look heroic. He's a cautionary tale wrapped in claws and wings. And when you combine that lore with the lighting effects and creature design, you end up with one of the most atmospheric Batman universe pieces Sideshow has ever done. This thing doesn't just display well, it haunts the shelf a little bit. And that's awesome. This is one of those statues people are going to notice immediately when they walk into your collection room. Not because it's the biggest piece, but because it feels alive. So until we meet again, keep your passion for collecting alive and your love for superheroes soaring.